Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 29th of August and we are going to deal with three very important topics which are in news. First is two new India-US defense deals. One of these deals is for making the supply chains resilient for any defense goods and services which are supplied among these countries. This is a non-binding agreement. But yes, we are negotiating a binding agreement in this domain. So we can see an upgrade in the times to come. The second agreement is an agreement on intelligence sharing. And that agreement is up to that level that we can place one of our liaison officers in Florida in one of their military bases. This will enable us to gather information in a much seamless and better way. This clearly highlights the growing defense relationship between India and USA. Strategic partnership started in the year 2004 between these countries. Next is RBI's unified lending interface. With the success of UPI, government has now decided to launch this particular platform at a large scale. However, it was launched as a pilot project last year. Now, what is this? It is a digital platform where, you know, all the information about a person will be linked with respect to lending. Let's suppose a person has taken a loan before. Has he defaulted on that loan? Has he repaid that loan timely before time? What is the credit score? What is basically the income taxes filed by that person? All that information will be available on that platform so that loan or credit disbursement to that person becomes seamless. So that is what RBI's unified lending interface will be about. Next is RHFL fraud, that is Reliance Housing Finance Limited fraud. Anil Ambani has been fined by SEBI of 5 crore rupees and has been asked to, uh, not take part in any of the securities activities for the next 5 years. Reason, his company, that is RHFL, disbursed loans to those companies which were financially not sound and affiliated to Anil Ambani only in some way or the other. Those companies defaulted on these loans and SEBI unearthed this particular scheme. That is why this is there. Then we'll go to the MCQs, and after the MCQs, we will be discussing the MCQs of yesterday. In the first news, two new India-US defense deals. Our Defense Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, visited USA and met the officials over there to sign these two deals. What is the official name of these two deals? Deal number one, Security of Supply Arrangement, SOSA. Second is Memorandum of Agreement regarding the assignment of liaison officers. So security of supply arrangements is with respect to supply of goods and services pertaining to defense, because the defense minister is there. It is not about all the goods and services. You should know and understand this. And this memorandum of agreement regarding assignment of a liaison officer, you place a liaison officer in their military base, they place in ours. This will enable better intelligence gathering. That is the main purpose of this. These agreements are part of an ongoing effort to enhance defense and security cooperation between the two nations. And, you know, the defense and security cooperation between the two nations has been guided or are under the aegis of a strategic partnership which is active since 2004, when USA along with other NATO forces were stationed in Afghanistan. Operation Enduring Freedom was ongoing at that time. Now, coming to this agreements, the first agreement, security of supply arrangement. So, purpose aims to provide reciprocal priority support for goods and services that are crucial for national defense. It is designed to address the supply chain disruptions. So, whatever be the case, if the essential goods and services have to be supplied relating to defense, they have to be supplied on a reciprocal basis. Means if India has to supply it to USA, India has to supply it to USA, and vice versa also holds true. If USA has to supply to India, it has to supply. The supply chain disruptions, or I would say any other excuses, won't work over here. Significance: India becomes the 18th SOSA partner of the US. So, USA has signed such agreements with 17 other countries before India, signing it with India. So, that is basically one such fact which we need to know. While SOSA agreements are important for interoperability, they are non-binding. So, they are non-binding agreements that needs to be taken care of. A binding agreement in the same domain, that is supply chain resilience, the reciprocal defense procurement RDP agreement is being negotiated as of now. RDP agreements intended to standardize and rationalize defense equipments with US allies. RDP agreements promote interoperability and streamline procurement processes. USA has signed this RDP agreement with 28 countries. Most of them are NATO countries. So, a legally binding agreement is under discussion, but this SOSA is not legally binding, but yes, aims at building resilience in the supply chain. Now, the next agreement, that is Memorandum of Agreement on Liaison Officers. This is basically an intelligence sharing agreement which is there between both these countries, and there in this agreement liaison officers will be stationed in you know the army or the military bases of one another, so that intelligence gathering can be streamlined in a much better way. This MOU enhances information sharing and coordination by deploying Indian Armed Forces officers to key US commands. The first liaison officer will be stationed in the Operations Command in Florida. Impact: this agreement builds upon previous decisions to increase strategic collaborations and aims to strengthen the operational relationship between the Indian and US armed forces. So, this is there, but we need to understand the background of India-US defense relations, because USA is India's one of the key defense partners apart from Russia, apart from Israel, apart from France. USA is India's second largest arms supplier. Apart from arms supply, USA also has multiple agreements with us. Two of them which we've seen right now. One is SOSA and one other is that Memorandum of Agreement. Now, milestones in India-US defense relationship. What have been the milestones? 2004, India and USA started pursuing a strategic partnership. Shared values and convergent geopolitical interests were there. Strategic partnership is that partnership in which multiple dimensions of cooperation or integration are there. But most importantly, the security cooperation has to be there. Security cooperation simply means there will be defense trade, there will be intelligence sharing agreements, other kind of agreements as well, defense exercises. So all these will be there. 2013 and 2015 agreements, joint US-India declaration, 2013 it was made, established the vision for enhanced defense cooperation between both the countries. US-India Defense Relationship Framework in 2015 committed both countries to greater collaboration in defense. So this 2015, I would say, deal was made under this larger aegis or the larger program of Chale Saath Sabka Vikas. Forward together we go, shared development, and with Sanja Prayas means with shared effort. So this was the 2023 roadmap. Focus areas. Roadmap outlines priorities such as intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. ISR we call them. This is called as ISR agreement. Undersea domain awareness and air combat systems. It also supports integrating the Indian defense industry into the global supply chain, which is very much needed for increasing defense exports from India to the world. This is what the governments have been eyeing. Next is ICET, Objective Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies, of which the second meeting happened this year. We covered it, and the US officials were here. The national security advisors of both these countries meet, and they discuss about the critical and emerging technologies which are very much significant for strategic partnership and deepen defense cooperation through co-development and co-production. Then IndusX, this was adopted last year when the Indian Prime Minister visited on the state visit to USA, that is June 2023. So, launched during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US, IndusX is designed to build a defense innovation bridge Basically, the defense startups of India and the defense startups of USA, they will collaborate with each other and do joint research, joint development, and all. Now, the foundational agreements. GSOMIA basically stands for General Security of Military Information Agreement. It was signed in 2002. Generally, it is for intelligence sharing, military intelligence, military information. LEMOA, Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Articles. This was signed in 2016. This is where, our naval ships or their naval ships, they need fuel replenishment or repairs, maintenance work. We can go to each other's naval bases. So this is provides reciprocal logistic supports between the two militaries. COMCASA, basically communications compatibility and security arrangement. This is basically for communicating in a much secure manner, in that manner which cannot be decrypted. So this was signed in 2018, ensures secure military communication and access to advanced US defense systems. So they provide us with some instruments, and we use those instruments to communicate with them. And those instruments, if we use to communicate with them, nobody will be able to intercept those communications. This is that technology. Next is BECA. BECA is Basic Exchange and Communication Agreement. This is basically getting access to the real-time geospatial information of USA. Now, real-time geospatial information is very much vital for you know advanced, I would say, defense products like fire and forget missiles, the UAVs, which are unmanned and they are used to attack. So they are guided by the GPS, the real-time GPS and all. So that is what this technology is. This was signed in 2020. And ISA, this is basically Industrial Security Annex. This is an upgraded version of GSOMIA, supports the exchange of classified information between the defense industries so that, production and all can be done accordingly. That technology which is shared with us may be very much beneficial for surveillance and all. Additional developments. Major defense partner status. India got it in 2016. India's designation as a major defense partner and subsequent strategic trade authorization tier 1 status have been significantly enhanced. Defense Trade and Technology Initiative DTTI signed in 2012 to promote defense trade and industrial cooperation between the two countries. Recent procurements, India's acquisition of MH-60R, Seahawk helicopters, SIG-SAW rifles, M777 howitzers reflects deepening defense ties. Ongoing negotiations include manufacturing GE F414 engines in India and procuring MQ-9B UAVs. So, this is how it is going. Implications of this deal, definitely it will, streamline the supply chains. It will streamline, or it will upgrade or increase the level of intelligence sharing among these two countries, and this is very much needed because India and USA are global partners when it comes to the Indo-Pacific region. India and USA obviously want to ensure the global peace. India and USA definitely both are struggling from terrorism. They both want to tackle that. And these are the convergence points which makes our defense relationship more and more deep. So that is what we need to understand. Next is RBI's Unified Lending Interface, ULI. So on August 26, 2024, RBI Governor Shaktikant Das introduced ULI, Unified Lending Interface, which is a digital platform. This digital platform obviously has been inspired by UPI, which is also another digital platform, but it is not an alternate of UPI. UPI is a payment system. This is a lending interface which will enable or streamline lending to the people. How it will enable and streamline? Let us see. ULI is a digital platform aimed at enhancing credit delivery by providing a seamless and consent-based flow of data. How it will, do that streamlining? Integrate various data sources such as government records, credit bureaus, and banks into single platform, facilitating easier and faster credit appraisals. So multiple platforms will be integrated so that information about a person can be available at one single platform. Current status, it is in the pilot phase, launched in August of the previous year, which aim to test the platform's effectiveness and refine the functionalities. So this is basically its current status. Key features, seamless data integration. It is basically a it will centralize financial and non-financial data. Non-financial data can be about the person's, I would say, whereabouts, address, workings and all. Financial data can be credit score of that person and history about the previous loans which had been taken by that person. The repayment history and all will be there. Standardized APIs. APIs basically are the bridges between one application and the other application. Okay. So active programming interface, basically it is called as. So this is basically going to connect two different bridges. So let's suppose we want information about that person's tax paying, how much taxes that person has paid, or what has been the tax, income which that person has shown to the government of India. So this ULI platform will link itself with the PAN platform, PAN card platform. So that that API will enable information from that platform to this ULI platform. That will create a bridge. So standardized APIs will be there, designed for a plug and play approach, which means the system uses easy to connect APIs that make it simple to link up with other systems and data sources. ULI will use standardized APIs to streamline integration with existing systems. Focus on inclusion. Platform will especially benefit smaller and rural borrowers, addressing the credit needs of sectors like agriculture and MSMEs. Data privacy and security. Platform will incorporate measures to ensure the privacy and security of sensitive financial and personal information, because that needs to be done, because if this information gets leaked, then this market or this space can be manipulated, especially by foreign players. Now, significance. It is expected to significantly impact India's financial infrastructure. Now, when I talk about financial inclusion simply means when most of the people in your country have access to banking facilities, credit facilities, insurance, and pension. And this definitely is going to further financial inclusion, ULI. So, it is, it will integrate with the existing JAM, that is Jandan Aadhaar mobile framework, creating a robust digital financial ecosystem. Now, additional considerations. Stakeholders will be the banks, fintech firms, and government bodies will play key roles in implementing and supporting ULI. Global context. Understanding how ULI might align with or differ from international lending platforms could offer valuable insights. So let's see, when it becomes available for mass public use, then only we will be able to, assess about its impact and all. Now, the last piece of news, that is RHFL fraud. RHFL stands for Reliance Housing Finance Limited. Now, the Securities and Exchange Board of India has taken strong action against Anil Ambani and 24 others. Fined Anil Ambani of 25 crore rupees, banned him for participating in the securities market for 5 years. This means he cannot hold any directorial or managerial roles in listed companies also. What happened? Fake loans were disbursed. RHFL, a company that gives out loans, gave out a lot of big loans and called them general purpose working capital, which are required by businesses for running their, I would say, businesses. These loans were supposed to help businesses with their day-to-day operations. Now, the bad borrowers, the problem was that these loans were given to businesses that were not financially strong. Many of these borrowers had very little money or assets. So they did not have that credit worthiness, but they still got the loans. No security. Normally, loans are secured by some form of guarantee, like property. But in this case, there was often no proper security for these loans. Misuse of funds. Loans were directed to companies linked to Anil Ambani and his group only. So the ones who were getting the loans were linked to Anil Ambani and his group only. And those companies were not financially sound. Not to businesses that genuinely needed the funds. Essentially, the money was moved around to benefit Ambani and his associates rather than being used properly. Loan defaults, because the borrowers were weak financially, they couldn't repay the loans, hence these loans turned into NPAs. And God knows they wanted to claim certain, I would say, insolvency benefits and all. Maybe for that purpose, those loans were given. Or maybe they wanted to show some losses to the company, that is RHFL, that we could not, take back those loans. So we should not be taxed that much. They wanted to evade taxes. That could also have been the purpose. But whatever it was wrong. Regulatory action, SEBI found out about this scheme and took action. They imposed fines and banned Anil Ambani and others from participating in the securities market. So, in short, if I tell you, the fraud involved giving out large loans to financially unstable companies, linked to the promoters only, with no proper security, lending to financial losses, leading to financial losses and violation of trust. So, this was what happened. SEBI's conclusion, scheme management, it said that key managerial personnel were involved in managing this scheme, which was, fraudulent in nature. So it caused regulatory breach. SEBI found that even though the loans were supposed to be secured by current assets, these assets were of little value. Those companies did not have much of the assets, but still they were giving loans. So in a loan, you keep something as uh, you know uh, a collateral. But here, the collateral amount was very less, but the loan disbursal amount was very high. So this is actually what happened, and this led to the, I would say, banning and the fines on many people. Coming on to the MCQs. Consider the following statements and mark the correct ones. Security of Supply Agreement SOSA aims at making supply chains resilient for defense goods and services between India and USA. USA has done first such kind of agreement with any country. Carefully answer these questions. Study these statements. Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Next is the Memorandum of Agreement on Liaison Officers aims at which of the following? Training the army officers from India in USA, training the army officers from USA in India. It is an intelligence sharing agreement between India and USA, or none of the above. Consider the following statements and mark how many of them are correct. India and USA established strategic ties in 2004. COMCASA, signed in 2016, makes communications compatible between India and USA. BECA, which aims at geospatial information sharing, was signed in the year 2020. How many of these statements are correct? Next question. Consider the following statements with respect to Unified Lending Interface ULI and mark the correct one. It will interlink government records, credit bureaus, and banks. It is a digital platform. Relatively simple question it is. And last question. Recently, SEBI has fined RHFL. What is the reason behind it? First is money laundering. Second is misuse of funds. Third is loan defaults. And D is both B and C. Which of these options are correct? Now coming on to the MCQs of yesterday, the answers to that will be discussed. Which of the following can be the reasons for a specified central law not being adopted for the healthcare workers? The government of India has given certain reasons, and among these reasons, federalism issues it will create. Yes, because the states are responsible for making laws with respect to law and order, and laws in the state already are present. So that will lead to overlapping of laws. So both 1 and 2 are going to be the correct answer for this. Next is consider the following statements and mark the correct one. First, Union Ministry for Health and Family Welfare has instructed to install high resolution CCTV cameras in healthcare institutions. Presently, yes, after this RG Kar Medical College case, this has been instructed. The ministry has also ordered cancellation of night shifts for all the female doctors and staff. No, this has not been ordered. This was suggested by some person, but that is not the solution. As I told, the ministry has not said this. So only one is true. Which of these countries are part of the lithium triangle? Lithium triangle is in South America. Argentina definitely is part of it. Brazil is not part of it. Chile is part of it. So we created an acronym ABC. So there B stands for Bolivia. Okay, not Brazil. So only 1 and 3. This is what it is. Now the last question, consider the following statements and mark how many are correct. Atacama Salt Lake is the largest saltwater lake in the world? No. The largest saltwater lake in the world is Caspian Sea. So this statement is wrong. Lithium is extracted from brine of salt flats. Yes, it is extracted, and this extraction is leading to the subsidence of those salt flats. Brine helps to hold the land and prevents it from subsidence. Yes, because of excessive, taking out of the brine, that land is not able to get hold of and it is getting subsided. So these two statements are correct. So only two statements are correct. This is going to be the correct answer for this particular question. And with this, we've come to an end of today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Not repeating it today. Namaste. Jai Hind.